Hi, I'm Courtney at womenlivingwell.org, home of Good Morning Girls. We are reading through the Bible cover to cover, just one chapter a day. And this week we are up to 1 Samuel chapters 21 to 25. Discernment. It is so important in the life of a believer because every day we are making so many decisions, right? I mean, we have to decide what we're going to put on our calendar, what meals we're going to make, and we decide how to spend our money. And every day we're deciding where we're going to go, what we're going to say, what we're going to do. And if you're a parent, you're also deciding for them what they can watch, who they can be friends with, what apps they can download. And it's just so important as we make decisions because our decisions shape the direction of our lives. Now, what is discernment? Discernment means the ability to judge well for ourselves, to think wisely, to recognize error, and the ability to think biblically about all of the areas of our life. Discernment is not being judgmental. It's not being legalistic. It is not being really good at finding faults in others. No, discernment is for our own lives. It's helping us to be able to determine what is bad, what is good, what is better, and what is best. And so we are going to see a beautiful woman in scriptures today. In 1 Samuel chapter 25, we are told about a woman who is beautiful and discerning. But first, she kind of just pops out onto the scene in this huge drama that is happening between David and Saul. King David is on the run as Saul is trying to kill him. And in chapter 24, David gets the opportunity to kill Saul, and he decides to spare his life. And it's a beautiful time to see David's character at work when he spares Saul's life. But the mood completely changes when we get to chapter 25 because now David runs into this man named Nabal. And the word Nabal means fool. So he runs into this fool who makes him very angry. And this is how the Bible describes Abigail and Nabal. It says, "Now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife was Abigail. The woman was discerning and beautiful, but the man was harsh and badly behaved." So this beautiful woman ends up married to this guy who is not a good guy, and he does not deserve her. I mean, she is going to protect him and take such good care of him. And so we see here, David is coming, and he is ready to kill the whole household of Nabal. And so we got two angry men. We got Nabal, who's badly behaved. We have David, who is angry, and the discernment of Abigail is going to completely diffuse this conflict. So her servants come to her, and they tell her everything that is happening. And so she very quickly, it says that she made haste, and she had her servants make 200 loaves of bread, and she got together a huge feast. She puts it on a donkey, and she heads out to go see David. And verse 19 tells us that she did this without consulting her husband. And that gives us reason to pause, right? Because we're like, uh-oh, why did she do this without seeing her husband? Well, I think that she wasn't able to trust his temper, right? It says he is badly behaved, and she knew that he may not be able to diffuse this conflict, but that she was trustworthy, that she was socially savvy, that she could handle this, and so she's protecting him by going and doing this for him. And the Bible tells us that when she arrives and when she sees David, that she gets off her donkey and she bows down to him. And she says, "On me alone place the guilt." She takes responsibility for the bad things that her husband has done. She is loyal to him and she is good to him despite his bad behavior. And so David sees this, and he's a very wise man, and he stops and he listens to her. And he says in verse 32, he says, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel, who sent you this day to me." So he realizes this is God intervening and saving me from doing something that is foolish. And he says, "Blessed be your discretion." Are you in the midst of a conflict today? Is maybe someone angry with you, or maybe some people around you are in a conflict and they are angry? God gave us this picture of Abigail to help us. And so let's look at what made her so discerning, what made her so special. It says that she was, well, first we see that she was good at decision making. She immediately made a decision to go and to try to handle this. She didn't go in her bathroom and sit and cry. She didn't lay awake at night just worrying. No, she made haste. She made a decision and she went to deal with this. And she was good at getting a meal together quickly. To be honest, I don't think I could get a meal together as quickly as she did, and she just whipped this up. So she was a hard worker, and obviously her workers, they respected her, and just like she listened to them when they came to her with the problem, they were listening to her. So she must have treated them well. She was willing to die for this household, so clearly she loved them. She loved her workers, and she loved her husband. And so she was not panic-stricken. She was not a weeping willow. She was not a worry-wart. No, she stood in front of the army of David. They had strapped on their swords, ready to go to war. And she stood before this huge army, bravely, boldly, in all of her beauty. And she was gracious. And she won his favor so much so that when Nabal died just 10 days later, David took her to be his wife. He did not just see her outer beauty, but he saw the discernment in her, that he saw the inner beauty. He saw that as a king, he needed a woman like this in his life. He needed a discerning woman. And he saw this woman was loyal to death to her husband. He needed a woman like that. And what I love about this is that she was stuck. She was stuck in a bad marriage. And just because we're discerning, it doesn't mean that everything is going to be good. She was in this place, but she was prepared, and at just the right time, she applied this discernment to her life, and God delivered her from this bad situation. And God can do the same in our lives. That you could be in the midst of a bad situation, but if you follow God and you do what is right, in His timing, He leads us out in His own way, whatever it is. I don't know what it looks like in your life. But if we are discerning and we pay attention and we listen to God, He will guide us. Discernment protects you and also gives us freedom, because we don't have to follow what other people think we should be doing or not doing. We don't have to listen to the voices of others. No, we can live freely. We can make haste and make our own decisions for our lives because we recognize the voice of God and we know His hand, and when we see it, we follow Him. So what is the one quality that you must have to be a discerning woman? The power is in the choosing. It's not just hearing God's voice and recognizing it and being able to tell good from bad. No, it is in choosing to do what is good. It is in the choosing to do what is right. We can teach our children to recognize music that's good and music that's bad. But until they choose to listen to the music that is good for them, they are not considered discerning. Because anyone can tell right from wrong. Anyone can say it's wrong to kill, it's right to not, right? But until you choose to do what is right, it's when you choose to do it, when you apply God's word, when you live it out without compromise. That is a person who is discerning. And so I want to encourage you today to stay in God's word, following Him, and keep praying, keep listening to the voice of God. But after all of that, you need to apply the wisdom of God in your life. Do not compromise. Be women who are living well, and keep walking with the King.